Welcome to this step-by-step tutorial on how to set up demand drivers in Strategic Workforce Planning. Strategic Workforce Planning is a driver-based system that helps you ensure that you have a workforce with the right skills at the right time to support your organization's strategic objectives. With Strategic Workforce Planning, you can proactively project future workforce trends and identify gaps in your workforce against your strategic goals. Your administrator has defined the demand drivers, which include regional employee count, number of calls, and new hire count. You can set the default calculation logic to determine how demand for each driver is calculated using either the previous year's ratio, by dividing driver by rate, using driver times rate, or a custom calculation. Keep in mind, if you select previous year's ratio, you need to ensure the data is loaded for the previous year. You can work with the provided data load templates available on the Configure page. I'll enter values for the regional employee count driver. We'll assign a demand driver for each strategic job. Let's pick a demand driver for director. If you want to override the default calculation logic set on the demand driver data page, select an option for the individual job. I'll configure demand for director. We need one director for every 1,000 employees. If you configure demand scale, you can apply a demand scaling factor for those jobs where you selected previous year's ratio for the calculation logic. For jobs with previous year's ratio selected, we expect a 10% gain in productivity gained from experience. For jobs such as Analyst, the value of 100% listed in demand scale means that no demand scaling is applied. If there are external influences to boost your productivity, such as a streamlined business process, you can indicate a factor to apply to your demand calculations. For Analyst, I'll enter a value for expected productivity. Our analysts will be more efficient due to a new automated system. Ensure that you enter all demand data for each year, as the values may be different. You can calculate the demand FTE for a job by selecting its row and running the demand calculation. Now we can see the updated demand FTE for the analyst job. You can make adjustments to these calculations by entering values in the demand FTE adjustment column. After our calculations and any adjustments are applied, we can see the total FTE demand. I'll calculate the demand FTE for all jobs at one time. After selecting the first blank row, I'll run the Calculate Demand business rule. I'll select the total jobs member for the calculation. All jobs is used with labor cost planning. Let's see how demand is calculated by looking at the demand for analysts. We have 7,200 regional employees and a demand rate of 200. 7,200 divided by 200 is 36. When we include the expected productivity gains factor of 30%, which means that we will only need 70% of the 36 analysts, or 25.2 analysts for FY19. On the demand compensation page, we can see the calculated compensation based on loaded average compensation data and demand FTE by job. In this tutorial, you saw how to set up demand drivers in Strategic Workforce Planning. To learn more, visit cloud.oracle.com.